Hey everyone, welcome back to another lesson. So in this one, we're going to talk about another method or string method that I'd like you to, kind of get familiar with because it's something that we're going to be using a lot. All right. So this one is called the count method. So the idea with this is that this is going to count something within within whatever you actually appended into. So the way this works is that you, for example, have a variable, let's say name equals, for example, something, and then you have another variable, let's say we call this name2 equals name, and then again, that's how you append the method. You write whatever you want to write, whether it's a string or it's a variable, dot, and then lower, right? So that's what we did with the lower in the case of lower, but this one is actually a little bit different. So this one is count, right? And the way you do this, again, you add the parentheses and you're going to tell it exactly what you are looking for to count in it. So in this case, what I want to do is I want to use this to write a code that is going to find out how many E's I have in my name, for example. So it's going to count E's, and the way you do this is you add a string inside and put E in it, right? So, or number or whatever you want to put. So again, in this case, we're looking for a string, so we're going to add it as a string inside the count method parentheses. All right, so I hope that made sense. So the way you do this is you want to start by, let's actually just write this code. So I'm going to start by defining a variable. I'm going to say input. We're going to say, please enter your name. All right. So after this, obviously the next step is we want to make it into lowercase, because as I said, in programming, uppercase and lowercase e's or anything really are different from each other. So if I have another variable and I have an uppercase letter, it's going to be a very different variable from the one that we just defined. All right, so it's very important to get your uppercase lowercase letters straight up. All right, so the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call this name lowercase. So this is a new variable and we're going to say name and we're going to make it a lowercase. This is exactly the method that we talked about in the previous lesson, right? So after this, I'm going to define a new variable and I'm going to call this char. So this is a number of characters that we're going to find inside our name, right? So I'm going to say equals, and we're going to find our name. This is the name lowercase, right? We're going to put it right here. And again, I'm going to append my method. I'm just going to say dot lower, or actually count. And we're going to open the parentheses, and I'm going to look for the letter E inside the name. So we're going to say, so essentially, again, what this is going to do is that it's going to get the name that we just turned into lowercase, and it's going to find how many E's we have inside it. All right. And after this, it's going to save it up into a variable called char. Very simple, right? Now, one of the things I want you to remember is that this is not, string is not the only thing it does. You can actually use a variable inside this as well. So for example, you can say how many of a certain like variable you have inside another variable. So like, again, it's just, there are a lot of different ways you can actually play with this, but I'm just going to go with the E here. All right. So with that being said, that's pretty much it. So let's actually print something. I'm just going to say print f string, and we're going to say there are, and then we're going to say char. So like that's the bracket, the curly brackets, right? There are x E's inside in your name. Here we go. So this is going to tell us exactly how many E's we have inside our name. All right. So let's actually go ahead and run this again. So I'm going to enter my name, Sean, and it's going to, there are 1 E's in your name. Simple, right? And now let's actually write a more complicated name. For example, I mean, one of the things I want you to see is that even if I enter my name all uppercase, it's still going to count the E's. But what's really interesting, again, is that if I actually get this lowercase name out of here, and if we just put the name, guess what's going to happen? If I put my name in uppercase, it's going to say 0. See, that's why I said it's really important to get your uppercase, lowercase letters correct when you're programming, because if you don't, it's just not going to work. All right. So here we go. So if I enter anything that, you know, you can enter, it's just going to see there's 1 E's in your name. I mean, I could definitely put more E's in that, you know. There you go. So let's put just more E's and like all that. There you go. So there are 7 E's in your name, whatever this thing that I just entered is. So that's the idea of a count method. All right. So it counts the method in your string and it just like looks at it and see what is there inside of it. So really simple method, but again, it's just I wanted to introduce you to this because it's something that we're probably going to be using later on. So I want you to be familiar. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. If not, I'll see you in the next lesson. That's where we're going to create our final project, and I'm really excited about it. So I'll see you in the next one, guys.